Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking love and marriage, Huntsville. You guys know why you were here. Today we are talking because Letitia's mom is excited and gloating that Keke has been exposed, right? And is, basically saying that she needs to be in rehab and alleging that she is back on pills and all of these other things. And I don't like it, you guys. I don't like it at all. I don't think it is fun to, make fun of somebody who has struggles, number one. Number two, I don't like family airing out their dirty laundry like this instead of picking up the phone or talking to each other in person and hashing things out. The problem is there's jealousy all the way around when you look at this from the bigger picture. And for whatever reason, it had nothing to do with whether or not Keke had any substance abuse issues or not. The Scotts never wanted Keke on the show, right? They never wanted her on the show, and it had nothing to do with who Keke was as a person. They felt threatened because they didn't want Keke to expose any family secrets or anything negative that they've done. And the problem now is because of Keke's, kind of double talking back and forth on multiple platforms, they're going to use that as an excuse to continue to make fun of her and say that she is not credible for any allegations that she has ever made in the past about the Scotts, even if it is true, right? So they're loving this, right? But here's the thing. You're talking about, not digging a grave for somebody, and it might be for yourself, but that applies both ways, as far as I'm concerned. You celebrating somebody, getting exposed and being talked about like this, and this is your own niece, and then you're going on platform to platform too to gloat about it, that tells me more about you than it does them. That you never cared about her as a relative in the first place, and then throwing in, which relatives may or may have not been a part of Keke's life, and trying to rationalize why she's asking for money, and just, drawing the wrong conclusions. But if you fell out with Keke, how do you know this information? Right? You don't know what the money is for. You don't know what she is going through. And there are people who can be very stressed and can be have very bad anxiety, can have, get very animated when they're upset about something, and it has nothing to do with being on drugs or substance abuse. There's people who are completely clean of drugs and alcohol and everything else that can be just as erratic if there is something that they are passionate about, if there's something they're upset about, if there's something bad that has happened to them and they're trying to defend themselves and they're trying to explain themselves. And they're so, caught up in all of this chaos that's taking place that they don't remember what they're telling different people. Right? So I don't like this whole, let's dance on people's grave, because again, I still feel the bigger picture is we're losing focus. We're no longer talking about Melody Shree and the Revenge P, and we are no longer talking about Melody Shree's exposure, which is a disclaimer of, what people should be paying attention to. And how stalking works, and how people can pretend to like you, to try to get close to you, to try to have access to your connections, and then when it doesn't, go anywhere, or it doesn't pan out how you want, now all of a sudden you hate the person. Now all of a sudden you have all this negative things to say about them, and all of these things, and then all of a sudden you're allegedly teaming up with all of their foes, with all of their ops, right? That tells me more about what the agenda is, right? And that tells me that in one way or the other, because they're upset that Keke is on this show, and because they're upset that Keke is still friends with Mel and they couldn't turn Keke against Mel, even though this whole situation is still a little bit convoluted as far as I'm concerned, they're now on the attack. They're on now the I told you so train, right? They're now making fun of people who have Keke on their platforms, right? And I don't like any of that, right? I don't know about you guys, but I was raised, if there's any family issues, especially, you keep that stuff in house, right? No matter how awful something of an action somebody said, something somebody did, don't broadcast it to people outside of the family, right? And handle the issues as a family unit. Bringing this out to social media and you're already on a reality show on top of it just magnifies all of these problems 100 times more and make things 100 times worse. That is not okay, you guys. That is not okay at all, right? So I don't want to celebrate, if something negative happens to anybody. I don't want anything negative to happen to anybody. There's a difference between holding people accountable for saying and doing things that are wrong and flat out hate. Flat out hate, name calling, insulting people, just saying the most nastiest things that you can come up with, instead of addressing the issue at hand. And that is where I have an issue. That is why, we went so hard at what was taking place on the show and off the show on social media. It was no longer about what your actual problem was, what your actual issue was. It was coming from a place of hatred and jealousy. So when you do not like somebody and you're jealous of them and you want something that they have, you're not coming from a place of, of a good heart or a pure heart or something positive. You're trying to come up with the most negative and cutthroat things that you can do to try to take them down and take them out, right? So that you can swoop in and have access to whatever it is that they have that you don't, right? So that's where I call things out at, right? Because I don't believe in insulting people and name calling. To me, I just don't like to do that. To each their own, however people, deal with their issues. But I don't think it's right for Letitia's mom to be celebrating this, right? There's always going to be relatives that you're closer to. There's going to be some relatives that you don't like some of their actions or some of their behavior. But at the end of the day, it's still blood, right? It is still blood, and there still are some commonalities ultimately when it's all said and done that unite the two of you, that unite you as a family, right? There are certain qualities and characteristics and family genes and all of that is always going to connect you at the end of the day, whether you were speaking to them or not, whether you have fallen out with them or not, right? And the biggest thing is you never know, right? We're all checking out at different times. There's no guarantee you're all going to be living to 120 years old, right? But there's even young people that are checking out. And with family, you never know if you may need a kidney, if you may need some type of help or some type of whatever, right? But to crap on them and they're, being attacked already from everybody else, and everybody else is coming for them and dragging them, and then you have to see it from your own family, that's hurtful. That's hurtful. You didn't have to get on and be like, I told you so. That wasn't necessary. Right? You can have your feelings and your views or what have you, but we're no longer talking about the issues at hand. And that's where I have an issue, is we're not discussing what the actual problems are. We have gone so far off of what the focus is, of what the core issue is. The core issue isn't what was said on a recording, because if you really listen to the recording in its entirety, it's kind of chopped. It's kind of basically sounding like they're trying to come up with a game plan to try to turn something around that was, because ultimately you don't know how dark this can go. You don't know the ramifications of how this can go and the seriousness of this. And to make those allegations and you're not even in contact with her, but just automatically alleging that she is, not sober and that she needs rehab and all this stuff. Here's the thing that everybody needs. Therapy. Let's start there. Everybody needs therapy, because there needs to be a reason why some people are so angry to the point that they're celebrating their own niece, having this fall from grace right now, right? But the only way for Keke at this point with this fall is to come back up, right? Is to, come back up and make something positive to where we're not going to be talking about this, right? So that is why I don't understand, and it just shows that there is a plot, you guys. I keep saying there is a plot. There is a plot to try to get Melody off of her own show, which is never going to happen. And then the other plot is specifically targeting, people who are claiming to be friends of Melody Cherie, people who are considering themselves millimeters that are also vulnerable, that can also be convinced for the right price or for the right type of clout to turn on Mel, to try to infiltrate and change the narrative of what is being discussed on social media and what is being discussed about the show, and try to filter the news that way as it pertains to Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I need people to remain focused on that, right? So that is all I have on that. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.